Hello.
Sylvia, good morning again.
You can make me co-host.
Okay.
Morning, Brian. Sorry for taking you out so early.
Good morning, Dr. Kush.
Good morning, my DG. It's
Thank you
rainy
for
morning.
thank you for being up early. I was requesting Professor to allow us to say good morning, then you can mute us again.
You have 7 minutes, so you can say good
I allow one by one those who are interested. Otherwise,
At least I allow Brian to say something.
Brian, I'm not seeing here.
Our
I'm not seeing
presenter
Brian.
is there.
He's
It's
there,
B.
Biseka Yomba.
Hey, okay.
Mm.
To be here, and yeah, I was just wondering how I was going to unmute myself. Hopefully.
We
shall unmute you.
All right, that's fine.
I've also borrowed services of somebody's phone. I arrived last night. My phone was stolen in the region, so I've not yet gone back on air.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right.
So am I loud and clear? Just to make sure everyone should
We
catch me.
Yes, you are loud and clear. I saw Stephen is the one who shared your slides. Is Stephen going to be moving your slide or yourself?
No, it's me. I have them.
No,
It's
it
Lydia.
is Lydia. Good morning, DG.
Good morning.
Yes,
How are you?
We are fine. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for
Sorry,
logging on early.
thank you. Sorry for the loss of the phone.
Yeah, we continue to serve. The show must go on.
Sure.
Lance Stephen, since you are very early, I request you give us the invocation. When I say.
I'm on the road. I'm jogging.
We are all on the move, but it's fine. So in the next, let's make it 10 minutes so that people can log on. We've set at 6:05, 7:05, sorry. morning for lions and guests. It's almost time for us to start. It's a rainy morning. We are blessed to have this rain. Hope it's raining where you are. So we'll be starting at 5 minutes past 10. Past 7, sorry. I'm not sure why I'm stuck to 10. So welcome once again to this week's Lions training. We'll start with an invocation, and Lion Stephen from Mukono Host will give us the invocation. Over to you, Lion Stephen.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Our fellow members who are out there, let us humble ourselves and we have our invocation. Dear Lord, we thank you so much for today. We thank you so much for leading us up to this other time. We thank you so much for the gift of life. We thank you so much for the gift of peace. We thank you so much for giving us health. We thank you for the protection. We thank you for everything that you have really accorded to us, even at times when we really don't deserve it. But you, as the Creator, you know better and you know what we really deserve. We really pray today that really you guide us. You guide our leaders. You guide our nations that are not speaking peace. May their leaders speak peace, that we end the wars that are around us in the region, in the Africa, in all the nations that are not at peace. May you guide their leaders so that they start speaking peace for betterness of their communities. We've really suffered, but we know you, the Almighty, who is there. You have a better life for us tomorrow and today. Today, as we pray and as we have this other session today, we pray that you lead the moderators, you lead our leaders, you give them the wisdom, you give them the knowledge, you give them all the courage to give us the information in a deliberate way, so that for us who are here and who are listening and the consumers, we benefit, we consume it with full heart, so that at the end of the day, whatever we get in this other today's session may come to the changing of our societies where we serve. We pray that you continue to use us, you continue to guide us, you continue to give us whatever it takes to make sure we transform our communities. I pray all this in your name, the Lord. Thank you, and
Amen.
we wish to have wisdom from the Lord. Thank you.
Amen.
Great.
Thank you so much, Lion Stephen. So we will be starting. So welcome again, our fellow Lions and guests, all protocol observed. Before we start, I want us to take 1 minute, since most of us are in our homes. Please go and look at your drug cabinet and see what is in there. Just take this 1 minute to go and look at your drug cabinet, have a list of the drugs that you have in there. There may be Budomoya, there may be herbs or whatever it is. Take that 1 minute to look at your drug cabinet or where you store your drugs and just think through what you have in your house. 1 minute. So as you do that, or as you think through, you'll discover that we have, our homes have become pharmacies, our homes have become, manufacturing places, our homes have become something else. So apart from the food that we eat, we also have medications in our homes. So today I'm very excited to present to you our presenter, Mr. Sekayom. Pharmacist and a public health professional. He has over 15 years of experience in the pharmaceutical sector. He works with the National Drug Authority. We all know what the National Drug Authority is. These are the people that regulate our drugs and make sure that the drugs we have around us are safe. He's a member of the International Society of Substance Use Professionals. One of the things that he does is lead a team of NDA individuals really dedicated to implementing strategies to prevent drug and substance abuse, especially among the Ugandan population. He's particularly interested in protecting the young people and ensuring that they have healthy and productive lives. He also spends a lot of time engaging people on drugs and substance use all over the country. He's married with he says currently 2 beautiful daughters, so that means he's planning to have more, and very passionate about family and serving humanity. So for anyone who is around him, you have seen he's very interested in serving humanity, so reach out so that he can become a lion. So he'll be talking to us about the unseen crisis, which is around substance and drug abuse among young people and adults, particularly in Uganda. So please join me in welcoming Brian to share with us his talk on substance abuse. Thank you. Over to you, Brian. Host, please unmute Brian.
All right. Good morning. Thank you so much, Xavier, for that humble introduction, that beautiful introduction. I'm humbled to, you've said so much. I thought I'd put so little. Let me see. Okay, so someone's going to be moving the slides for me. That's okay. Just need to make sure. Now, so I'll start my presentation with just before we move to the next slide, we could go backwards. I liked your queue, your starting queue, that when you go to our medicine cabinets, we have thousands of things in there. At an opportune time later on, maybe when you're invited again, I'll have a very interesting talk about that, because it's something else also. It's what we think is a savior in the home actually has become a danger to the home by having medicines in the home. That's a very interesting topic, and yeah, we shall have a very interesting talk about it at another given time. Today, I'm going to share about something that maybe it's not so much talked about. If I may ask, I don't know the age distribution of the lions online, But I believe we have a number of lions who are between the age of 20 and 30. And or we have children, or we have friends, or we have relatives somewhere between 20 and 30. And it's not uncommon to find people who are affected by this drug and substance abuse in the families, at the workplace, even on the road. It is something that we all face. Why did I say ages of 20 to 30? When I was picking a topic and I said crisis among young people, I was trying to look at that age, because many times when our brain keeps growing from the time we are conceived, the brain starts developing. I mean, we'll talk about that story. It's a very interesting story how the brain starts growing, but usually it's moving very fast when you're in our teens, and then towards the mid 25, 26, 27 there, yeah, it's almost getting there. So what does it mean that between conception and up to there, you do not want anything that is going to either slow its speed, alter its direction of growth, or kind of disturbs it from anything. And guess what? As a people, as families, as young people, as knowing or unknowingly, we've actually affected the growth, altered the growth of our brain. And that's why I come in today to share with you something it will be short, but maybe it's food for thought for us to think about it. Next slide, please. I'll go to the next. Next, that's just an outline. So when I'm going to be using the word drug so often, that's going to be my definition. And I'm not going to be very academic, but I wanted us to be aware of this definition. This is a definition that may be speaking to Uganda for now. And this definition, when you look at it, you're going to find that many times I've gone to communities, I've gone to many people, including our policymakers, and I've told them, this is what they call a drug. And then someone will say, oh, but this is a herb, it's not a drug. So if a herb falls within this definition, then that means it's a drug. So sometimes when you go out there and you're telling them, you should fall within the jurisdiction of people who regulate drugs, they say, no, but these are herbs, these are local things. So when I'm using the word drug, please refer to this definition. And then you're going to find that even the things I'm going to talk about fall within this definition. So meaning they are drugs. And we're going to find out why they are drugs. Next. All right, let's just, we can go back and then just people know some other definition. Just back, yeah. We can keep there. One step forward. Yes, these are the things I'm going to be using, the terms I'll be using when you go in there. So on the next slide. So what's in our market today? What's in our space? What's in our environment today? All these, I must say, are available in our market. And I must say all these are drugs. Why? Because of the definition I've given in the previous slides. So what's available on our market? We have marijuana, which is almost when you go to all over this country, there's a garden somewhere, there is someone in the compound. Some of us don't even know that we have this in our compounds. I have been talking to young people who actually plant it in their homes and their parents cannot even tell. Then we have number 2 cat, which many of us know as Mira. This is all over the place. You're going to find it on the street. Cocaine, heroin, not very common. I'm glad we are going down on the cigarettes. It's not now common to find someone smoking. They'll be hiding somewhere. However, there is a new trend. Go to most of the upscale bars across Kampala and beyond. You're going to find what they call shisha. Later on, you'll see a picture of how it looks like for those who have never seen it. Many times I inquire from the people who are using it. I say, if I give you a cigarette, would you try it out? They would say, no, me, I can't touch a cigarette. A cigarette causes lung cancer. And then I tell them, okay, and how about shisha? They say, oh, that's okay. It's flavored, it's beautiful, it's nice. And many of them don't actually know that actually they're doing the same nicotine or the same tobacco, just in a different form. And the effects the cigarette can give you are the exact effects shisha will give you. And then you have Kuba. This one, if you go into many supermarkets, you're going to find it. The young people know how they buy it. For the people who are a bit senior, you may never find this in the supermarket, but then people know how to, they know the code they use to get it. I'll include alcohol among these examples because it's one of the issues we have as a country. I think yesterday, 2 days ago, we were discussing it in one of the high-level government meetings, and we're saying Uganda is still #1 in Africa in alcohol consumption. And interestingly, we have some good now. Our position is not so bad across the world in global rankings. Then the last two, fentanyl and tramadol. These are products that are actually come into the country through the legal route. And they come in as medicines for particular ailments, especially pain. And they are sold in pharmacies. But people, I'll keep referring to young people so often, but even adults are doing this, have gone ahead and forged prescriptions, convinced people in these pharmacies to give them these products regularly. And actually, these products are being used for recreation. I mean, so people are using them to get high. And for those of us who have been to the other continents, especially the North and South America, you're going to find one of their biggest problem now is fentanyl. And they're wondering if they should just get it off their market. Next. Yes, then there's that one. That's an injection. Pethidine is an injection. And still that was also gotten from the pharmacies. And these people know how to get it, including forging prescriptions, including bribing people with these pharmacies, including importing it on their own as personal medicine. When I say ice is a code for drugs, methamphetamine combined with other things, and this is being sold in the high-end places in our cities. Young people are buying these things between the ranges of 500,000 to about 5 million. And the interesting part is these transactions happen in cash. And this young person is going to get this, and then he's going to sniff it or snort it, and then he'll get high and he'll do things that I'll share later. Kush is also, it's a combination of different things combined. And this is also in our market. Some of us are parents and you hear young people talking about mole, don't say it's just some other. When we were younger, these names were common. I don't hear them anymore. But it's mole, it's not a person. It's actually a drug. And you see they'll use it as a code. Then the cough syrup, there's a cough syrup which was very common during the COVID time. It has codeine as one of the supplements therein. But now the people have learned that actually that can get you so high. So you find for those of you who are parents, young people are telling you, I need this cough syrup, I need to take it to school, I need like 5 packs, 10 packs. They're not treating cough, they're using it for something else. Then for the seniors on the group, you may find you have some gray hair on you, which is, I'm told, sign of wisdom. So then when you go out and you're cutting it, young people are collecting it and mixing it with other things and actually burning it to snort it. Then we have some grasses, commonly paspalum, which they combine with other things and also snort it. Then vapes. Now, vapes is some interesting thing. some of us who are seniors may not know that you find a young person putting something that looks like a pen in their pocket and they're all over the house with it. You're thinking, yeah, he has a beautiful pen he got, but it's not a pen, it's actually a cigarette. Sometimes some of these actually don't even cause, they don't smell. They use electricity, they use batteries, so they charge them and then they smoke them. Next. Yeah, so what's the problem? I've given you the examples. These are just a few numbers which I was a bit old, and that's one of the big problem. One of the big problems we are not putting a lot of time into finding out how big the problem is. But these are some of the numbers, and it's not surprising that 7 out of every 10 students have tried out something. It's always begin to the tribe. And they'll give you 1,001 reasons why they do what they do. And I've had an opportunity to share with many across the country, and usually it's ignorance. Next slide. Here. Now, the problem here is we are hiding our heads in the sun as a country. I won't talk about other countries where I've shared this, but as a country, hiding our heads in the sun. No one wants to talk about this. Both the policy, the community leaders, the social leaders, they're all sharing the topic. It's kind of, we're making it a private matter. Okay, my kids are having this problem, or I have this problem at home, and I keep quiet about it because we find, I've talked to some people and they say it's a shame, or people are going to judge me that I brought up my people, I brought them poor upbringing. I mean, no one is talking about this. We are all hiding. It's only when it gets out of hand and then people start looking for rehabs, people start looking for hospitals. But I'll say, the longer we wait, the worse we're going to get into something seeming like an epidemic. We might think the quick fixes like a rehabilitation that's going to help. Chances are high they are not helping. And usually by the time we get there, it's a bit too late. It's easier when the person is just starting. But when you're already hooked, chances are high you're just going to be in some regular cycle. There's a statistic, I think about 67% chance of reoccurrence if you, when you use these substances and we take you in for treatment, we take you into rehab, and you all seem well, there's a 67% chance of that same problem reoccurring. So the longer we hide, the longer we don't talk about this openly, shout it out in the streets, it's eating us up. It's a cancer that's eating up most of the young people. The interesting part, they won't say. They'll keep quiet, and by the time it gets in, it will be too late. Later on, I'll show you what the young people are claiming are the reasons that are within our reach, the people on this call, but we are not seeing. Next. These are just some pictures. These pictures were not just taken anyhow. These pictures were taken in our country. Next. Now, some of you are going to see these things around you. In offices, at home, in schools, and the young people are going to tell you, oh, these are biomedicines, I'm sick, and what? These are just drugs to knock them out. So there's nothing like they're using them for anything. You find them kind of well decorated, at least what I've seen on the market. They have very nice pictures. Please, they're not something that you should just let go. Next. Now, these are the vapes I was talking about. They look nice, they look beautiful. So like I said, many of them are electronic. You can charge and use, you can have batteries, random batteries. But basically, these are cigarettes. Now, some of us may not even know them, could just pass them within our homes, within our workplace. They think someone has a beautiful thing, but every time they run to the toilet, they've gone to smoke a bit. Next. Now, when I talked about shisha earlier on, this is what I meant. There are people on the call I know who really resonate, who know this exactly, but then there are people who have never seen this. Like I said, go to most of our end entertainment places, you're going to find this thing. And you find young people excited on it and smoking and forming what they call a cloud, and they're happy. But the interesting part, this is tobacco, and many of them don't even know. But again, this thing is not actually allowed into the country. It's banned from being into the country. For those of you who looked at yesterday's dailies, there was a whole double pager about this, the effects and all that, but it's here. And people are using it. Okay. And it's across the whole world. There's someone saying they've seen it in just a place. Trust me, almost every place is there, but it's banned. Now, this not very common in Uganda here, but some people actually. I'll make a disclaimer. Then Uganda used to be, we used to be a transit country for some of these products. Right now, Uganda is considered a user country. So these things actually no longer just passing, they're actually stopping and they're being used within the country. Next, that's why I can't say that now we no longer have the powder. Now, this is the marijuana. Now, I've met some parents who have discovered they have marijuana in their compound and they didn't know. So that's why I put this picture for you to, if you find some interesting plant within your home, please don't just get to pass by. There is something more interesting in there. And I know when you go up country, people are planting it and growing it for so many different reasons. And I'll tell you a little research about this is in the species we have commonly around is the species that is actually problematic, not the species that could be useful. So the people who are growing it, I know it's all over the place, but people who are growing it, they're growing it. They just don't know. Whatever they tell you this thing does is actually a myth. And we are trying to convince people out. There is a new law that's in place, and it's actually going to make it criminal for you to possess any of the things I've showed here. Next. Okay. So what's happening? Oh, unstable home environment. Yes, like I said, we were discussing this at high-level meeting 2 days ago, and we're saying, what exactly substance abuse and drug abuse? What's the issue? Is it a health issue? Is it an economic issue? And then I think we agreed it's a social economic issue. And because it has that social part of it, it starts somewhere. And the smallest social unit we have in this country is the home. Now I'm going to say it, I can't overemphasize it. Most of the problems we are seeing, the drug problems, the abuse problem, the substance abuse problem, comes from home. It's coming from home. Now, it doesn't mean that at home they are using this, but it's because of what's happening at home that is dragging young people and even adults into abuse of these products. Now, on another day, when you get someone to talk about farming and how farming introduced, this is a whole topic of its own. What do you do at home that is pushing these young people or even the other adults into substance abuse? I'll tell you, some of us who are here, you're at home and you're bringing your things into the house, these young people are watching you. And some of them, because you're their heroes, they would want to do exactly what you do. Even if you stop them, they will do it without you watching. Remember, I started from the part of how many of us have between 20 and 30. You may be using any of these things and they are not knocking you out like they should knock you because you are of advanced age. The young person who is between the 0 and probably 25 to 27 uses them, and these things knock them out outright as fast as possible, retarding their brain development, causing them, the brain is retarding in terms of growth and causing them very many other issues. More than what you would do for you who is of advanced age. Now, many times, and this is, I will say it, I don't know, I've had this many times. What we do, because we are busy doing other things, which is okay, we've neglected raising the people who are under our responsibility, under our responsibility. So because of that gap, we look away, and to kind of meet that gap, what we do, we throw money at them. Now, these young people have money, but they don't know what to do with this money. So the market is out there looking for these young people who have money. And when they have money, which they don't know how to use, these people are learning that they're teaching them how to use the money, and how they're using the money by buying drugs. And the beauty about, when I sell you a drug and I hook your brain, you're going to become my routine customer till death. Chances are high, no matter what you do, you'll always be my customer. You'll go to rehab. When you come out of rehab, I'll show you my drug and you'll get back to me. I'll take you to a mental hospital. They'll treat you. They'll treat you after some time. You come back home. When you get back home, I show you the drug. You'll be my customer again. I told you close 70% chances of relapse. In there. So then they're learning that on. Hello? Could you just go back a bit? Yes. So, and then we've gone to learn that the schools, some schools are even hiding this. They're not talking, they're trying to hide it away from the young people. I mean, they're trying to hide. They know the problem is in there, but they keep quiet. I've been to some schools and we've talked about this, but some are not willing to open up because they claim, in quotes, they will lose market. And these people are having these young people almost 70% of the time year round. But they know these things are happening and they're keeping quiet. Next. Now here, these are reports from young people in Uganda. I have to emphasize this, in Uganda. We have enough cash. And guess what? These guys, remember I told you Uganda is no longer a transit route, now it's a user route. The people who are selling these things for them, or they're interested in getting money. And how do I get the money? Is to get clients. And who are the easiest clients? The young people whose brains can easily get knocked on. When I get this young kid and the brain is locked up, I can easily get enough money from this kid. Whatever price I put, the child will pay. And they'll need this product day in, day out. So they have market. So the best they do is always continue creating more and more market. And unfortunately, the market is coming in your home. The market is coming in your schools. That's why it's spaghetti the market. Yes, I remember I said the parents also sometimes are part of this. I've claimed parents share with them. I know there's this notion where some adults claim when I introduce it to them in my home, then they can control themselves. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. Remember, I told you your brain is already developed. This young person's brain is still a bit young. So guess what? You introduce, they get hooked. For you, you can control. Unfortunately, for them, they can't control. On another day, when I talk about the real science of what exactly happens in this brain, you will know that why I'm talking about this age. Their brain is still running so fast and so many things can easily change. Now, there's that part of looking for sense of belonging. It's a common one. And many of them, because of that loneliness that they get at home or at school or in our spaces. Now, this even applies to adults. Falling into any of these is a very common option. Very common option. And then these things tend to make them feel like they're loved. Though I should tell you, all people who come and convince you about using drugs, they're not your friends. Because they are alone, they feel lonely, they're angry and selfish. So what do they want? They'll come and convince anyone they can afford to convince, so that you can also become alone, feel lonely, feel angry, and be selfish. So this cascade goes on. You want to make more people lonely, more people selfish, more people angry. So young people tend to hook up because they are thinking they're going to be loved by those people. And the reason they're looking out for this love by these people is because at home there is a gap. And these people know it very well that because this thing is hooking their brain, they feel like they're being loved by these people. And I'll tell you, you who is looking after these young people, you will never know. They'll keep what? They'll keep smiling at you, saying all the nice things to you, but actually when they have the people who care, they give care. And then they've told me these things are available, the exposure is there. I mean, some of us who have uncontrolled phone time, uncontrolled TV time, they're watching all these things. And the thing about a growing brain, they want to test, they want to see what works. And then many have said, we didn't know, like when I talk about shisha many times, we'll say we've never known that actually shisha is tobacco, but it's there. And so the information is not out there. Remember I said, initially I said, we are all shunning this topic. No one is talking about it because we think it's a private matter. But this is affecting our social science, affecting our economy. Next. So, like I said, I'll try to steer away from the science, but I'll say these in totality, these are the effects of the drugs. Like I can summarize them into those four. One, your judgment is affected. The reason we see people taking certain decisions, the way they take them, because they're under the influence of drugs. And this happens across board, from the young to the old. Like I said, I'm steering away from the science, which is a bit complicated because I'm used to the science. But when you look at the way the brain operates, when you're intoxicating it, it kind of has, I would say, something like a block. So your judgment is based on certain parameters, which on another day, if you're not intoxicated, those parameters will not be non-existent. Remember, I told you one of the most interesting parameters is anger and loneliness. So your judgment is going to be based on that. And then true to this, I must say, there are certain things that you start living in a world that is existing different from this world. See things differently, see things bigger, see things smaller, see things in different dimensions, but you're living on this earth. Cognition, I would say this is like thinking outside the box. It is something that you will never do when you start this. Like your thinking is going to go down, and this applies to the adults. If a person who is a strategist, this will stop you. And I remember one of the products I put is alcohol. Now, many of us think alcohol can just pass, but I'll tell you it's affecting the same things. Then the most interesting one is memory. I know many of us who have had friends who have had a good night out. When they come home, the first thing in the morning they'll ask is, how did I get here? Now, when you intoxicate yourself the previous night, so some things happen in the brain, and then they have to be, the brain gets excited, and then at some point the brain has to get back to normal, and when it gets back to normal, it kind of destroys a part of itself. And some of the things that are destroyed are memory vesicles. So truth to be told, that part of your life is deleted completely from your brain. So that's why someone will drive their car, get home, enter, park, go to his bedroom. But in the morning, the first thing will ask, how did I get home? Because that part between the intoxication and the rest has been deleted, and he doesn't remember one single bit, and he's not going to remember anyway. So you have to tell the story, but he will never add up to him or her. Definitely coordination is affected. I mean, many times when I'm engaging such people, I can tell from their speech, tell from their mind what they say and how they talk about it, tell from how they move, tell how they see things. I always tell the young people that sometimes you find this young person and I ask them, tell me about your name. If you're lucky, he'll tell you the name, but he'll tell you his name, his brother's name, his auntie's name, his father's name. Like he just does. When he starts, it's like he's like a radio. He doesn't want to stop. Then the others will flip it the other way. He won't tell you and will just keep quiet. So basically, these are the four, and these are the things that happen immediately. I've not talked about the other effects where we go to the heart, the liver, the kidney, all this. I've not talked about that. So that's why I said they're medical, they're social, legal, and financial. The financial bit, that one is very unique. I'll tell you, all the people who have had this in their homes, people who have seen this on the street, you know how big the financial implications are on this. Next, please. Okay. Oh, I thought this is a very gross picture. I hope I'm not disturbing anyone. I thought I should put it here. When I was thinking about putting it, when I was sharing these slides, I had not put in share. I said, let me just put it there. So please forgive me for how it looks like, but we are talking about this. I won't hide it anyway. This is what can happen to you when you use tobacco or tobacco products. Many of us were told, oh, when you take cigarettes, you get lung cancer. Perfect. That's okay. Little did you know that it can create other cancers, including almost 8 other cancers. The skin cancer, breast cancer, uterine cancer, esophageal cancer. All these women have depicted some of them in this picture, including psoriasis. I mean, ulcers. We have cataracts, that's your eyes not being able to see, hair loss. I mean, all these are things that tobacco can actually cause. And these are happening in Uganda today. And then there's also this, there's this assessment was done that discovered that when young people start smoking in their teens, when they start smoking in their teens, and they continue for some time, they lose 25 years of their lifetime. So meaning they will die 25 years earlier than they should have died. This is basically from smoking. Now, these are the issues. I remember I displayed this picture somewhere in some I think it was a show. And some people said, but why do people have never told us about this? Yes, now we know. All these things can happen. I mean, ladies, you shouldn't light up anytime. I mean, for you, the smoke tears you apart so often. I mean, so much. Things like osteoporosis, things like heart disease, things like uterine cancer. You're going to find them when you're using some of these things. Let's go to the next person who has just started taking alcohol. Next slide. Next slide. This is a person who has just started taking alcohol. What I talked about, the first thing is their memory. I said the memory is one of the things that's knocked out, but look at the thin hair, the red lips, and I know some of us have seen someone like this. This is a person who has just been taking alcohol, just starting. I've not gone into the other issues of the liver. I'm not going into the heart disease and all that, just starting. And for some of us on the group who have ever faced ascites, you know what it means. And then, so the question is, how do I know? How do I know it's happening around me, to me, or people around me? It's a very common thing. If you had a person around you, very, very focused people, very task-oriented, all of a sudden they'll slow down. They won't finish tasks. I mean, they've loved some hobbies, all of a sudden they lose interest. And now they'll get weird cravings. Then they're going to start using these things when you're listening. I mean, you wake up in the morning, someone is going to office at 8, 9, and he wants to first take a glass of something. Then for those who have young people, you're going to see them shifting groups. You knew their friends, all of a sudden have brand new friends who are a bit, they don't want to be seen. So you never get to know, like you don't hang out with these people. Yeah, it's okay, my life. I have new friends. Then the new friends are not open, they're not readily available. And then you're going to find this person was welcome. It's smart, all of a sudden they're a bit sharp. Then you're going to find people. Hello? I hope I'm still loud and clear. You're going to find people skipping work, school, and classes. There's a problem. Please don't, when you see any of the things happening in your home, please don't take them for granted. Something is happening, it's maybe under your roof, or it's happening in your home. Next. Then you're going to find people getting into trouble recklessly. I know I've met some young people somewhere and the parent was telling me, you see, my child, I don't know what's happening, is getting in and out of prison. Could this be witchcraft? No, it's not witchcraft. The head is doing some things to him, and for him, whatever he wants to do, it's against the norms and principles of law. Yes. And then you're going to find some changes in eating habits. Very, very interesting. Now, some of us, oh no, the young person is growing, and now they're trying to manage their figure. No, those eating habits, usually when I'm taking these substances, my appetite goes low. So I prefer the substances to the food. So I'm going to find my eating habits going low. And then once in a while, I'm going to come and shoot my eating, and then I want to get back to my substances. Then sleeping habits, a common one. These people tend to change routine sleeping. They either sleep, now they're sleeping more in the day rather than sleep more in the night, like they should be. And I know this is happening in our homes, and we know. Then worsening relationships, because remember I told you about angry and they're lonely. So one of the things, they'll keep you people out, and then they would rather be alone. And when they come in, remember they're angry. So just a little tap, a little snap, the person will snap at you, get angry at you. I've seen young people beating their parents. This is what's happening. Next. I've summarized them here into the issue of what things to look out for. This is really a summary of what I've just talked about, that you can look at the educational, look at the psychological, the social, and the physical. Next. So what happens? Have I identified? What do I do? I must say, for those of us who have young people in our cast, who are under our responsibility, and they've gone through this is a very painful endeavor and a frustrating endeavor. First of all, you're blaming yourself for what you didn't do. And then you're going into a place that you're going to be involved for much of your next life. When you get a young person and struggling with this, you're going to do a lot. One, you're going to invest in a lot of time. You're going to invest in patience that you've never had before. And you're going to understand things that you didn't want to understand. And this person you're dealing with is a person I told you who is in a different realm. So you're going to have to do it over and over again. You're going to have difficult conversations, which, because you're a bit angry at some point, these difficult conversations are going to end up you being blamed. So you're going to start pointing fingers and doing all these things. It's a completely frustrating endeavor, but I must say, you must go through it. If you want to see, and if you want to help these people, including your people around you, I mean, your husband, your wife, or your children, you want to help them, you'll have to go through all this. And it is a slow process, and it's a process that can take you almost a lifetime. But what's needed, you need to be persistent, you need to show love, concern, and the worst thing you're ever going to do is to try and judge. You do that, you've lost them. Yes, we all know that what they're doing is wrong and they took themselves to that part. But at this time, because their brain is different, you're not going to judge them. And like I said, offer time, space, and talk. And you're going to talk. And we're going to involve professionals. Now, I've been across the country and I've seen people run to our traditional healers. I know they exist, but chances are high they are going to offer little help. You may need professional help, and then you're going, like I said, it's involving. You have to be involved. You're not involved, you're going to lose something. Next. So now the question is, you who is dealing with a person, if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to find yourself also falling into that pit. So even yourself, you're going to have to do certain things. You don't take care of yourself, because I said it's a painful and a frustrating endeavor. So going to do it, you're also going to make sure yourself. I've seen mothers who spend the whole night crying because their children are in this space. Please rest, because if you don't rest, also you find yourself in a different place. And certain boundaries have to be set, and then where possible, look for support. Many parents, like I said, because we're keeping quiet about this, we're not even getting the social help that we should be able to get. However, where we've been able to open up, I've seen parents sitting together and helping themselves together. And where there's help, please ask for it. Next. This one I won't explain further. I think it's self-explanatory. Parents, you need to live an exemplary life. I was talking to some young vacists some time back, and one was telling me, my mother brings ice and she has taught us how to use it. Ice has methamphetamine and ecstasy combined. And I'm saying, which kind of mother is this? And I mean, you're giving a 12-year-old, 13-year-old ecstasy. I mean, by 15, they'll be in another world you won't even handle. And then some others say, my friends, when I go for a sleepover, my friends give me this. So when your young people are going for sleepovers, do you actually monitor? Do you know what's happening on the other side? Why do they prefer to go for that sleepover in that particular home regularly? And you don't follow up to find out what exactly is happening. It's important to know about these drugs, what's on the market, what's happening, and what they do, so that you can be able to share with the people around you. Then it's not bad to engage young people. Like I said, when we were doing this, we thought we could engage high school students, university students, and adults. We discovered this thing has gone even to the lower institutions of learning, the primary schools. Then it's important to know these people. If you have children around you, please know them beyond what you see. Yes, you're busy, you have a lot of work you're doing, but it will be all useless if you wake up and this child has gone into that pit, because you'll forever regret. Best option, catch it before it comes. And then for those who are already affected, the professionals are out there. And please don't hide away from them. Go and seek the help that you must get. Next. So, something I didn't put here. treating a person who has gone into a substance use disorder or alcohol use disorder is very, very expensive. Going to rehab, they're going to charge you per day that person is in the rehab, and average they will charge you between 90 to about 150,000 per day. And for good effects, they would want to keep this person for about, they will say 3 to 6 months. But remember, you're paying per day for a person to sit in some home so that he doesn't get drugs, access to drugs. But remember, I told you when they come out, the chances that they're going to get back are almost 70%. And I think latest statistics even show it is even higher. So they'll come back and sometimes even worse than how they went in. And guess what? You'll have to go back. So you go into a cycle. There's a family I've been working with, and they've gone into this for almost now 8 times, and they're giving up. So it's very pricey. Now, the medicines we use to counter when you come to the mental referral hospitals, the medicines are very expensive. Very expensive. If you try to go to manage to treat a person with substance disorder privately, you will know that it's better to treat other patients than that person. So as a country, as a people, knowing who we are and what we have, best option is let's prevent. And how do we prevent is let's learn, let's have strong families. I told you it's a socio-economic issue, and the smallest social unit we have in the country is a home. Our home is a mess. We are going to be a messed up country. And then this let us be involved. I'm glad to be speaking to the Lions community. Can we be involved? Can we talk about this? For those of you who can be on the policy desks, can it be brought on the table? I'm glad that when I introduced this to the clergy, religious institutions, they're taking it up. And I can't wait for them to be putting it on the tables during the festivities. And for those who can do advocacies, please do it. Let's not fall into this pit. There are countries I know in this world. And like I said in the beginning, when the introduction said I've done this across different countries, the countries I've gone to, because for them they legalize these things, they are crying. Many of us, when you go to our emergency rooms, you're going to find about accidents, what. For them, when you go to the emergency rooms, you're going to find opioid toxicity people in there. But for them, they have the resources so they can treat them. We may not have as much resources ourselves as a country. So best option, let's prevent. And this is not something it's not something that's being done globally. Prevention is minimal, though I've seen now I see countries shifting. They're all saying, wait, I think we need to prevent misuse of these things. Next. Yeah. That's just a quote. Your body has no spare parts, so don't spoil it. I should say one of the body parts, the brain, is affected by these drugs, is one of the few body parts that you can't replace. So once affected, done for good. Your brain, once you disturb it, you're never going to recover. Thank you so much, and I hope I've not gone too long. I'll take some. I've seen some questions coming. I don't know if someone has been noting them, because some of them I would love to. They were. I thought I would first finish and then get to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much. That has been very insightful. Some of these things are things that are actually traditional, like alcohol. If you go to the East, it's Ajahn or Malwa, that is taken to be social. If you go in some societies, cat is like a traditional thing that, they even call children and other members of the family to enjoy. So these things are around us. They're readily available. Just like the phones that we went through the other time, they are addictive. So when we started, I asked people to go and check their drug cabinets and see what is in there. So can we take 30 seconds to even check what is in our children's room. Can you just go back and check from the pictures that they showed us, which I'm going to show? Do you have some of these things around you? Just take a quick look before we go into questions. When I looked at this, it almost looks like a small perfume container. So for the girls, this can easily be a perfume container placed somewhere. These look very beautiful. It can be anything. So can you check your cabinets and see if you have some of these things? Of course, the bottles of alcohol may be somewhere in a crate. So yeah, so we are going to go to the questions, the number of comments that came in. So Lion JB said he has seen young people smoking shisha in a hotel in Kamocha. Marijuana is big business in PG, Vitambala and Gomba districts. Yes, that is true. And someone says misery loves company, and that's why people are using these things. And another one commented that the other latest substance is the smoking snake shell, which is mixed with marijuana. Maybe, Brian, you can talk about that, which is the smoking snake shell that is being mixed with marijuana.
It's actually it's the snake skin that they use.
Oh my God.
It's a snake skin. You combine it with something and then you burn it. And yeah, it's what is it. There are worse things that are coming. They are coming mainly from West Africa. So I won't mention them here, but okay, I'll say it. You'll hear about it. Young people are exhuming bodies and they're crushing the bones and burning them. Yes, it's happening. And the video
yeah.
So these are so this is what they're doing.
And when you talk about West Africa exhuming bodies and snake shells, yeah, the comment about witchcraft now also comes in, because some of those individuals are actually introducing some of these habits in Uganda. So there's the issue of boiling marijuana as a home remedy to deter malaria parasites. How hazardous is this? So you already mentioned that people are planting marijuana in their compounds and they're not aware. So is there a benefit of boiling marijuana at home?
There's no evidence to that. So please, the effects you're going to get from marijuana are far worse than the malaria parasites. Please don't. There's no evidence that it can deter malaria parasites. Please don't put it in your body. Put in your body, the effects are far, far worse.
Yeah. So what is your take on using marijuana, especially among the youth, in tea, hot water? They say it's to boost body immunity and vitality, and it's very common in schools and the local communities.
That's why I'm saying we need to work together, all of us. This is so wrong, so not true. These people are using it. They are convincing young people for the wrong reasons to boost immunity. Wrong. I said all the marijuana, most of the marijuana I have around this country is the species that is not useful to the body. So this thing of putting in tea, these people are just using it, pretending, they just want to get high. Please don't use it in tea. Actually, I've seen where I was talking to the taxi operators and bus operators, and they said, you know, when they're serving us tea, this is what they put. Like I said, I steered away from the science, but I'll just put something simple here. When I take marijuana, they kind of something happens in my brain, and it seems more active because there's some hormone called dopamine produced in the brain, so I get more active. So I tend to, then you see your body is almost excited. But interestingly, this is just for a moment. When the brain cleans out the dopamine, you go into a depression something that can knock you out, you go to a lower place than where I am. I've seen when they were telling me about we want to drive long distances, we take some of these things. I told them, yes, you'll drive as long as you're taking. But the brain is a unique organ. At some point, it can only have its own limits. And when it's cleaning out, it will clean out and it will depress you. So when it depresses you, you'll be driving, but you'll black out driving. And that's some of the accidents we are seeing, because the person actually blacks out when they've been very sharp 1 minute and the next minute they blacked out. It happens so much to trailer drivers. And it's a common thing also for people who try to use energy drinks to keep awake. You can't push your brain so far. Yes, the dopamine will be released, but the brain will have to clean it out. When it cleans it out, you fall into some depression. It will be a blackout because the brain needs it. So these things, wrong idea, please don't use them. And then vitality. I'm going to shock many of us here. For men, these things knock out your vitality. Ladies, these things increase your libido, but as they increase your libido, they actually affect your reproductive organs, including your ovaries. That's why it's very, very uncommon. I mean, it's very common to find people having miscarriages when they're using these things. I know when you go to the village, they give ladies some little alcohol for kids to get, I think, a good skin. Wrong, you're going to lose those babies. And then they start accusing people, so and so is bewitching me. But actually, it's the drugs you're taking. The interesting part about these drugs, I can take them now. 5 years later, I get the effects. I start losing all my children through miscarriages, or if they don't come out, they come out when they have underdeveloped brains. And we accuse witchcraft when it's actually the drugs we've been taking. So I hope. And then there's something about when you go to your children's room, there's something that happens when these young people start using this drug. Guess what? A door that used to be open, now the kids are closing it. When you walk into a room, the young man kind of gets scared. And you see him fidgeting. Please don't take that for granted. Don't say, the young woman is growing. No, they're hiding something. Please check, open your eyes wider than what you see. Thank you.
So talking about young people, when we are talking about prevention, at what age should we start discussing these things?
Okay, like I said, when you go on, and you should be able to see age-appropriate information. When I'm sharing with you this, it's not the same thing I share with university students, it's not the same thing I share with high school students, it's not the same thing I share with primary students. So there's age-appropriate information that's available for young people. However, for any child that can be able to understand money, any child that can be able to understand what they take, what they put into their body, you should be able to share with them, and they know that their body is precious and they can only introduce their body what works. Now, for those of you who love going to the West, now what these people are doing, they're putting these things in children's drinks so they can hook the children. Lucky here, we've not gotten there, but when you travel with the family, please don't just jump onto any drink, because these young people are going to get hooked onto these drinks and they want them at all costs. So, as long as the child can understand money and understand what gets into their body, please share with them, tell them to protect their bodies, not just take anything that they want. I usually get very concerned when I hear that children are very interested in a particular drink on the market. I usually go and check out the drink to see what is in there. Thank you.
So we will share Brian's number in the chat because someone wants you to talk to their community of writers. So we'll do that. Someone is asking, can you differentiate between drugs, medicines, and medication?
Now, when you're in Uganda, and I need to put a disclaimer, when you're in Uganda, that definition you see works for a drug and a medicine. When you go out of Uganda, please don't use the two. The medicine is different, a drug is a psychoactive agent. something that affects the brain. So for Uganda, for the Uganda's case, those two, medicine and drugs, are the same statements. And since we're in Uganda, so I'll keep it at that. Medication is just another term. Thank you so much.
So someone says marijuana helps in killing cancer cells. What's your advice?
Like I said, I was trying to steer away from science. The way marijuana works, the way it gets into your body, it goes into a brain, and it plays around with the brain. Like I said, I'm avoiding science jargons. But when this dopamine, that hormone, well, I'll call it the happy hormone for now, when it's released in the body, it kind of brings a very good feeling and a euphoric feeling. And pardon me? So that feeling is a feeling of relief in terms of pain. So it has not killed the cancer cells, but it has caused the pain relief. No wonder one of the painkillers we use in cancer therapy is made from these products. So there's that euphoria that comes when you take it. It's actually relief, but these cancer cells are not dying. So, I mean, another day when you talk about how cancer comes, you'll understand that cancer cells are just cells that are growing beyond their normal life. So as the body is trying to push them out, when you get something that can give you relief in terms of pain, it feels like a good thing. So that's why I've seen many people carrying jerry cans when they're in cancer wards, but basically it's euphoria that they're looking at, pain, kind of pain relief, but not killing cancer cells. Thank you.
And then Lion Perez is asking us to read a book entitled Beautiful Boy, which has great stories from parents with drug issues. But he also mentions that Uganda is still a conduit for drugs and consumers, especially among the youth in the schools in Kampala. So you mentioned that we have stopped, the drugs have now stopped coming through us to other places, but we have now become consumers. I hope our airports and ports are now better, because at one point we were really a conduit for some of these drugs. Maybe comment on that, Sada. Brian?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, pardon?
The issue around us being a conduit for drugs, because they used to come through us to other places.
And now we are a user country. We are no longer a conduit, we are a user country.
So someone has commented that social media, TikTok, is fueling this challenge. The other day we were talking about phones and addiction. And yes, all this still comes to us as parents and how we need to control or manage our homes. Marijuana was used during COVID-19, and it was a cure for it.
That was wrong. It was not a cure.
And someone is confessing they were at a friend's house and they served tea with marijuana leaves. They did not even know what it was, and she explained it was medicinal. So that reminds me of some of the cakes these children are using actually have those drugs. Some of the biscuits they are taking to school around them have drugs. So there are so many ways that drugs are getting into our homes, into schools and our children. It may even be in foods. And one of the drinks someone has mentioned is kombucha. Have you checked on kombucha, Brian?
So I'll talk about nothing happened. I felt nothing. We are all of us here, we're about 80. All of us are different. All the Ugandans, 44 million plus, we are different in terms of genetic makeup and in terms of how our brain works. Now, you might be lucky that you took the tea and nothing happened. You may not be lucky the next day. I may not be lucky. I may take it one time and I'm knocked out. I might take it 5 years and nothing is happening. However, the brain is recording. The effects may actually come in later. I use the word may, but I'm not saying you're in
Dr.
trouble.
Pantola first.
Yes, they may come in later. So we are different and our brains manage things differently. So that's why some people can take a 1 or 2 and they are okay, but others 1 and they are knocked out. So our different body makeup is why we experience things differently. But now our role is to talk about this for everyone, such that we don't try out. And you don't want to test your brain to say, how at what extent do I need my head knocked out? Because when it knocks you out, you may never get back to your normal. And then some drinks have drugs, kombucha. We've tested so many drinks on the market and we've actually not found drugs. That's why I said as a country, we are still lucky.
So what about the alcoholic drinks? So the other day I was with people from other parts of the continent. And one of the comments they gave was Ugandans really drink and that's what keeps them happy. So what should we do about the alcoholic drinks and the controlled use of alcohol?
Ugandans too, we really drink, and we have a very good position in terms of drinking. We actually drink and we are happy people, true. But the question is that happiness, is it costing us something? Which is also true. So the question is, what should we do? That's why I said as a community, what are you going to do about it? I may not, Brian alone may not do much. But we have people who are policy heads here. We have people who are community leaders here. We have people who are, when they speak, things happen. Please, can we talk? I mean, currently as a country, we have an alcohol policy. But is it being implemented? Yes or no? I mean, the people in finance will say we need the money from the alcohol taxes. But then the other people say, but the effects are worse than the taxes we get. So it's a discussion that we need to be involved. Someone will tell me without alcohol, I mean, I can't operate, but question is, you can't operate, what does it mean? It's actually a lie. So we need a concerted effort together if you're to manage alcohol. I mean, how come, can you imagine on a Monday morning, you can find a bar open and people are taking alcohol? Like, really? At least I would rather, okay, let's say that the bar start opening at 6, at 7 in the night. But on a Monday morning, no, I think we can do better as a country.
So please mute Oriema. Please mute Oriema. Please mute Oriema and anyone else. So the challenge around parents, we are very busy. If we are not at work, we are in jam. We have sent our children to boarding school. What should we do as parents? How can families protect children? What about the issue of preventing marketing of these substances? There's even an advert on TV, for example. It's a drug, it's a Chinese drug, and they're talking about weight loss and all this. How do some of these things get onto our TVs? Who's regulating?
So we are working to make sure these things are not put on TV. And I think, remember, some of you used to see these artists coming and displaying their things on TV. That is normal. So it's a work in progress. What should parents do? Let's be parents. I don't know if that statement makes sense. Let's be parents. No one's going to parent your children. You're the one going to do it. And the people you're leaving these children to are the ones throwing these kids in 2 places that they'll never get out. And I'll tell you, no matter how busy we are, you're forever going to regret having lost a step somewhere. I'm dealing with parents across this country, and I'll tell you there are parents who hate everything around them, including the wealth they've amassed, because they forgot their children and they are in pain. They are in pain. I know a family which has spent lots of almost their wealth to manage one of their children, but the family is crying, the siblings are crying, they're not happy. So as parents, let's be parents again. We need to just get back to the basics. Let's know who our children are. Let's know their friends. Let's know what they do. Let's talk to them. Let's just create the time. Yes, the world is requiring us to be very busy, but we need to find a way. We need to find a way. And that one you can discuss till the chicken come home, but we can. I'm not a parent expert, but I think we can do better.
Have you had any success story for a current case? So they're in rehab, come out, rehab. Do you have any success?
I'm not going to lie to you that there are many. There are very, very few. They are there, I won't lie, they are there. And then the interesting part that I've seen, and this is, I can share openly, for any young person or adult, and this I'll put even adults, if they do not have any clinging or any attachment to a bigger, like a supreme being, or if they don't have any faith attachment, it's always very complicated. So many of the people who have been successful, they have some faith, and that faith has helped them out. But success
Like-
stories are very few. I won't lie to you, very few. So best option, let's prevent. You do not want to get in and out.
So it's important that you're actually talking to the religious
Yes.
fraternity. So what is the right percentage of alcohol that you need in drugs, since some of the medications you take actually contain drugs,
Pardon me?
contain alcohol? So what's the right percentage of alcohol in medications that some people take? Someone is asking. Yet alcohol has a problem. Yet it's also part of the combination.
Now,
of
the
drugs.
interesting part is, yes, some medication have alcohol, but the percentage is really minimal. So it's not going to cause you any problems. It's like I've received a question where people say, oh, how about you? How about coffee? The coffee you take in your beverages is very small. It's not going to do anything to you.
Hmm.
Yes.
So it looks the people are taking them in energy drinks, they're taking them in tea. There's even a restaurant that serves cookies and tea with marijuana, you know. So people are taking these things. The other day I was treating a patient, and you know this cough mixture, the common cheap one that's pink in a white container. So you'll end up having these people asking, complaining that they have cough and requesting, particularly for that cough mixture
Yes,
that
yes,
has
it's common.
that has piriton in it, because they want to get
There's
high.
one, actually, the commonest one is one that has codeine.
So we will realize that actually, you know, the consumption increased, and then we kept wondering, why are they so interested in this thing? Only to realize it's, you know, they're addicted to it. And now we are trying to reduce its prescription. So maybe to caution us as Lions and guests, one of the things, personally, I'm a clinical trialist, and one of the things we do with national drug authorities, conduct clinical trials to prove whether some of these things actually work and if they are safe. So when we say that we don't have information on whether some of these drugs actually cure the ailments that people are talking about, it's because they have not gone through the rigorous phases or trials that are required for a drug to be registered. So until research is done, we cannot be out there and say these things actually work. So we'd have to work with the researchers to, let's say, go and get this marijuana, know how much is required, what its effects are, and all that, to come up and say it's a drug. And that's when National Drug Authority would come and actually register it. So as we stand, please, whoever is using marijuana for a drink, in a chidomora, in I don't know, all those things, and all these other medications, please, you are abusing them, and you will get addicted, and you will end up with all these effects that we've been talking about. So it's 5 minutes to the end of this session. We have had a very beautiful discussion. One of the reasons we did this was to create awareness as we go out there to plant trees, please plant the correct tree, not a marijuana one. Okay. You may say you're trying to improve the environment, but you end up planting an opium plant instead of a Karitunsi plant or something else that is important for the community. So as Lions, ours is to know and create awareness so that we can be able to support our communities and bring these things on board. So I'd like to appreciate Lion. I'd appreciate our presenter, Brian. I think we will need to call you back for another session because one of my interests is our drug cabinets. They have really become poisons in our homes. I am going to call you back because
it's a very interesting topic. I like it so much. Actually, it's when I'm not talking about substance abuse, I'm talking about rational use of medicines.
Yeah.
And when I go to the communities, it's a very interesting topic. Please, I'll be very glad because I really love it myself. I love it so much.
Because there are drugs that we have, they have become like groundnuts, things like Viagra, things like steroids. People are just using them like, it's food, and yet we are going to cause ourselves problems in the future. And for me, one of my biggest worries, especially for the young people, is we are going to have a generation with very small brains, but does not concentrate, that does not do anything. And those are the future leaders in this world. So what are we going to do when that happens? Many of us will be long gone, but how are they going to survive in this world? So the addictions to the phones, the addictions to drugs, the addictions to all these things in the future are really, really going to cause us a problem. We are seeing some of that actually. Tanzania, there are things happening. Kenya, things happen. All these things, some of these things are actually related to the things we're discussing. It might be drugs because they're too boring to actually go out there and be on the street. So I would like to thank you so much. I'll hand over to our DG to say something.
Maybe, Dr. Sylvia, just
Yes.
one thing that I just can't leave. Please, any lion who is in here and sometimes when you have a good evening, in the morning you're taking paracetamol, please avoid it. Because of a hangover,
Yes.
please avoid it
And that
completely.
even when you
Yes,
have hangover and you take
Yeah.
Panadol in the morning,
Please.
it's very dangerous.
Please.
Mm.
All you can do, all you need is at least
It's
you need
big,
honey
but the
honey
payback
water.
period.
Yes, please avoid it. You're causing more trouble to yourself. It's a common occurrence. I grew up seeing it. Please avoid it completely. Those two are not really
Madam,
good
people
friends when they
pay
reach the
land.
liver.
And then there's something
And then
Monica, please mute. Please mute. Please mute.
then the final thing, I've received out of reports that we cook our beans and I think Chigere using paracetamol. Please, let's stop. We are killing ourselves slowly but surely. Please cook these things. Let us cook them normally. Adding paracetamol, you're poisoning your entire family. I thought I should say that before I leave.
If you go into that, we will not stop now. Now, when it comes to paracetamol, we go and eat our food all over the place. We do not know who, what, and whatever they are putting in there. So if we go into that direction, oh my God, we will call you back for another session. So some of the things that are happening to us, the acute kidney injury, the liver problems, the brain problems, some of it is because we are putting medicines or drugs into our food, thinking we are making life easier, yet we are causing ourselves poison. So, fellow Lions, our time is up, and I would really want to release us so that we can go and do other things. But before we go, we can have just a small word from our DG. Over to you, Lion Tush. And please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kush, for a very interesting session. And we thank Dr. Sekayombia Brian for this engagement this morning. We are really grateful that It came in on the first day after the month of mental health and well-being. This was really timely. And let us be involved as Lions. Like he says, we can be the advocates. I always say, even if you change one person, you'll have made a difference. These things are happening. The discussion was really very, very relevant, and let us all embrace it. I want to hope that the next time we have the doctor, he will also be an intending lion or a lion. And I'm looking forward for this topic on savior in the home being the danger to the home, about medicines. I want to thank you so much. Let us take keen interest in the issues raised. Check your cabinets for the drugs. Check the children, the youth you engage with. I always say that schools take longer time with the children than the parents actually. So as Lions, I've been really observing, especially this month where Lions are engaging the schools. Let us together be the mentors and advocates for change to the better. I want to thank you so much for the discussion. And I want to say, let us go and practice some of the things that we can do in our means. I want to take this opportunity to also thank Lion Clemens, our convener for mental health and well-being. You all know that 30th was the day for National Mental Health and Well-being, but because my phone got lost actually before I could see what was taking place, I want all of you to join me to thank her for being there as the voice of Lions. I hope some other Lions joined because I was not in Kampala. And I want to say, let us continue to do good. For all those who created awareness about the topic, remember it was our month, also nationwide as Lions. I want to thank all the Lions that got engaged and involved in creating awareness about mental health and well-being, and the dedication that all Lions are doing. Thank you so much. A lot is happening, outreaches, service. I want to thank you so much. And also to congratulate all the graduates of Emerging Leadership Institute, Lions Leadership Institute, because it's the one I witnessed ending last week. And then I want us to join hands and congratulate Lions Club of Kamwenge for giving us an October born of Lions Club of Kahunje. We want to thank everyone who made this happen, that we are able to celebrate new addition in District 411B, but also all those who are inviting new members to join so that we can have more hands to serve. Thank you very much. I know we've already gone beyond our time. I want to also say that next week we are closing into All Africa Forum. All those who are still registering to join the forum, I encourage you to go through Lan Edgar, our ambassador, so that you don't miss out. Remember, All Africa Forum is like our international convention as African Lions. So go and experience the beauty of service with many other networks in the Lions community. I have been sharing with the schools where I've been visiting, and I also want to leave this with you, Lions, that as we commemorate mental health and well-being, and there's so many things we are going through, let us remember to take care of ourselves. These are the 5 C's I've been promoting. Take care of ourselves and others. Take care of the fellow Lions. All those you've recruited, please care for them until they feel comfortable in their dens, and trying to cope with situations that are unpleasant so that you can continue to deliver. But also remember to connect with others for better, connect with others to know much more, and encourage the young people to connect with each other in the positive way. Be compassionate and stay calm in situations that may not be pleasant. Like I lost my phone and I had to continue the visit and finish without being connected. But I'm now back in Kampala. I'll be soon connecting today so that I can reach all of you. Thank you very much, everyone who woke up to be on this call. Thank you, Lan, Dr. Kush. I didn't know Kush is on the list of medicines or drugs. Maybe today, let me say Dr. Kusemeregu until we sink in that. Thank you very much, and back to you. Have a lovely Saturday, Lions.
Thank you so much, Lion Tush. So please, Kush has nothing to
Thank
do with the
you
drug.
very much.
But thank you so much, Brian. I will keep in touch because we have to talk about the drug cabinet in our homes. That is very important. And thank you, Fellow Lions, for participating. The Chimeza can go on. You can put your videos on and your mics and say hello to each other before we go and enjoy the rainy Saturday. Thank you. You're free to leave at leisure. Thank you so much. So the recording will be shared by Professor Lawrence. The number for Brian has been put in the chat. Please take it and reach out to him so that he can provide information for your communities. Enjoy your Saturday. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Lion Norbert, where are you calling in from?
Hoima, Albertine.
Ah, near my village. How are you?
I'm good.
Nice to see you. Is it raining
Nice
on that
to see you.
side?
It is just cloudy, scaring to rain.
Ours is really rainy. It may go on the whole day.
Yeah, and we have today diabetes walk.
Enjoy. That's nice.
Yeah.
And Kush,
Sure.
I'm waiting for my Senene.
They have not started. They have not started
Really?
falling. We have Unswa at the moment.
No, I want to Senene, not to swear.
Now that it's November, yes, those should start happening. Hopefully there will be many. With this climate change, those are challenges now. Yeah. So we'll share the presentation on the group. Let me do that now so that members can be able to enjoy and share with your children. And then the recording can be shared by Land Professor Lawrence. Thank you, all of you. Let me share the presentation in my group chat. Okay, have a nice Sunday, Saturday and Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, Lion.
Greetings from TZ, where I'm attending from now. Good morning.
Did you vote?
No?
Is that using violence?
The people who exported violence.
Not really.